Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we have another update regarding the YandereDev situation because he has made another public response on his Yandere Simulator blog. Now YandereDev has been in the public spotlight for many years now, but recently he has been under fire after a series of allegations were made against him. Now he's most known for developing or not developing Yandere Simulator, but these allegations have nothing to do with the game itself. Rather, it has to do with his own personal behavior. Now, here's a screenshot of one of the re-uploads of the video that was taken down that contained a host of allegations against YandereDev, focusing on alleged inappropriate conversations between YandereDev, 35 years old, and a 16-year-old fan. Now, here's just a snapshot of the bleach-worthy moments that were shared in that video. Here's an account that allegedly belongs to YandereDev, and you can see some of the creepy messages he was sending, and nothing really captures it quite like this screenshot right here, where a 35-year-old YandereDev is pleading with this 16-year-old fan to not go public with some of the allegedly inappropriate conversations between these two. However, he would go on to make an I'm sorry post facing a lot of backlash at the moment and losing support on his game. He tried to make it a little bit better by making this post and owning up to being in these conversations and saying that he shouldn't have done it. But clearly it was not enough because a lot of people are now wondering what happens next to YandereDev. Is something going to happen legally? Is the game going to continue? What is going to happen next? Well, he would answer that on October 1st, a few days ago, making this post titled, Moving Forward. So we're going to read this. It starts off by saying, I've been exhibiting horribly self-destructive behavior on a regular basis for a long time now, which honestly, a self-aware beginning to this blog post. That's pretty good. It's definitely self-destructive. His behavior is exactly that. Like, there is no good that comes out of inviting a 16-year-old into private Discord audio conversations that go on for hours on end, or having these conversations on Snapchat. Like, it's one thing for a 16-year-old to drop a comment on one of your streams or your videos or whatever. It's another thing to invite them into private conversations where you talk hours on ends with them and say things like, well, I treated them like one of the guys. Well, that's a colossal bad move, okay? That is a self-destructive behavior. But he goes on to say, as a result of the many conversations I've had over the past few days, I think I can pinpoint the cause. My downward spiral is the result of consistently making incredibly unwise lifestyle choices that has caused my mental health to deteriorate massively over time. It didn't hit me up until recently just how bad things have gotten. Haven't left the house since July 2019, no real life acquaintances, 16 plus hours on the computer every day, no vacations in half a decade, prioritizing work over my physical health. It shouldn't be any surprise whatsoever that when you allow both your mind and body to completely waste away, you dissolve into a mistake machine, a person that is capable of nothing but bad decisions, who exists solely to cause problems for others. Now, I have to say, like many other who saw that, I hate that whole idea of a mistake machine, that this is a mistake that YandereDev made. Okay, it's a mistake to forget you have the oven going and you burn your dinner. That's a mistake. It's not a mistake to routinely talk with a 16-year-old fan in many ways that were sexual. Okay, that's not a mistake. That's a pattern of alleged behavior. And to diminish this to a mistake is just offensive. But he is right, okay? His pattern of behavior here with staying indoors, 16 hours on the computer, that will rot your brain. Okay, breaking that cycle for YandereDev is the most important thing to start off with, because that is obviously not good for his mental health, and the proof is in the pudding with how he's behaved over the years. And he goes on to say, since the last blog post, a lot of people have reached out to me to share the same advice. See a therapist, get hobbies that don't involve a computer or TV screen, step away from game development for a few months. All of it can be summarized as start making healthy life choices that will turn you into a more normal human being. And I honestly can't argue with that. And you know what? I hope he's being sincere here, because he's getting criticism and he's accepting it. But I think a lot of people can share my doubt, because YandereDev and criticism, they don't vibe, okay? Like, there's famous screenshots like this. When it even comes to criticism of his games, he has not been listening. In fact, he bans anyone who gives him any sort of criticism. I mean, there's a whole genre of YouTube videos out there that our YandereDev Discord ban speedruns, okay? He is quick to dismiss anyone causing him problems, and that is also really reflected in the responses to this latest blog post, okay? There's many things I want to take away. Number one, it is very suspicious that there's 111 thoughts on this post, yet I only find a few dozen, which leads me to believe there's a chance that YandereDev is deleting all of the negative or critical or overly critical responses to his latest blog post, which again would show he's not being very sincere in his apologies. But also, I find these posts in particular to be very concerning because I think this is another problem going on in this situation, and that is the fact that YandereDev has a lot of people who are apologists for him. They excuse his behavior, they just make everything out to be a tiny mistake and forgive him and never push him to better himself. And they give him a reason to not want to change. I mean, you can pause and read these, and maybe these are socket accounts, these are made up by YandereDev himself, who knows, but just read the content of these. This person right here basically saying all this stuff is no big deal, and that, he's an example of perseverance, an example of how to keep going no matter what. And it's bad that traumatized people are trying to hurt others. What does that even mean? Down here, this person says what you did was a mistake and nothing more. And then down here, you have a whole story about someone saying that they were in a similar situation where they were supposedly framed for being inappropriate with a minor and they had to relocate across the world and that they understand what YandereDev is going through. Like, this stuff is wild. It excuses his behavior. And if you're YandereDev and these people are not only financially supporting you, but also excusing your behavior and diminishing the effects of what you're doing, are you likely to change, especially when you're not in the best mental state at the moment? These words might encourage him to say, you know what, maybe I just made a tiny mistake and I don't have to change things. But moving on, here's some more statements. So a lot of people have been asking me if the recent controversy will stop me to will cause me to stop developing the game or give the game away to another developer, and he says that he's not ready to do that yet, and that he has been working on Yandere Simulator for 9 years, and the thought of taking time away from that makes him very sad, and he doesn't like this whole walk away, but he's also aware that this is bad for his mental and physical health, and he's not sure if the project needs to die and all these things, and he thanks a lot of the people who have collaborated with him for their part, even if they're not continuing on with Yandere Simulator, where I reach kind of the brutal conclusion. This is a brutal piece of advice I have to give YandereDev and other people over the course of time, and I don't say this lightly, but get a job. Like, this is not worth it anymore. This is not working. This is causing you a lot of mental anguish, whether it's a result of your lifestyle or just developing the game or whatever. It's clearly very, very bad for you. And also, the support on this project has continued to dwindle. We talked about this in the last video. His Patreon has dipped to an all-time low of $1,100 per month, which is not nothing, right? It's not nothing. But at this point, he's making less than what a minimum wage worker gets in the United States if they're working a full-time job. It's like you're working for less than minimum wage on a game that is supposedly causing you so much mental anguish that you're stuck in the house and you have all these problems with your mental health. And it's only getting worse. Okay, that's the thing. This number is only going to go down over time. And this clearly is a situation where I don't think he's going to be able to live off of this anymore unless he's saved up over the years. But this genuinely is going south, and it's not going to get any better. And we're not even talking about the fact that a lot of the voice actors involved with this project have walked away, and he can't use their lines anymore. So he's going to have to essentially build this whole game from the ground up, which already took him 9 years to complete only a small fraction of the game. The game's never going to be finished. And whether he's genuine about it or not, this number keeps going down, and there's really nothing left of this project. It only exists to cause problems at this point. If he wants to develop games, no one's going to stop him, but this whole thing really is just an excuse to collect money at this point. because the game will never be finished. If it took 9 years to get to this point, we're never going to get there. It would literally, just based on that timing, it would take decades. It's time to wrap it up and move on to better things in his life. And he would go on to say, and this is what causes me concern. This whole portion is talking about, there's still so much I want to share with this game. So many people still want to learn the secrets of the Yandere simulator. And what are we going to do about this? It can't end like this. And that makes me think that the game is more important than, well, his own mental health and moving on and bettering himself. And we're going to end with the final post here saying, I can't guarantee when will be the next time I will make a blog post. I'm not even sure what the next blog post will be about. A big announcement, a bug fixing build, or something completely different. It's hard to tell what the future is going to hold, but I just wanted to let you know that I probably won't be posting as frequently as previously was, or updating the game as frequently as I previously was either. All of the steps that I need to take to become a better person involve spending less time in this chair and more time outdoors. During my time away, I'll be spending a lot of time thinking about exactly how I should proceed from this point forward. I'll be considering all possible options, even the uncomfortable ones, such as reducing the scope of the game to make it into a project that would be much easier to finish with limited resources. And the absolute last resort of handing off development to someone else. For what it's worth, I apologize for everything, and I thank you for following development of Yandere Simulator. Now, I think most of those are bad options. I don't think anyone wants to pick up this game. It has a tarnished reputation at this point. I don't think anyone wants to take this game and continue on in its name. I also don't think that continuing this project, even in a limited scope, is a good idea. I think the only good option out of here is to move on, make the uncomfortable decision to do something else, because this is not good for YandereDev, and apparently it's also not good for a lot of people that he is interacting with online. But that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you guys listening. I know it was a lot. So, feel free to share all of your thoughts about the topic today in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.